What if your hair products aren't actually failing you, but you're asking them to do a job that they were never designed to do? A lot of us have a cabinet full of oils, creams, and treatments, but the question isn't always, do I have the right products? The better question is, am I putting the right product in the right place? Because just like God created every part of our bodies with intention, He also created things with purpose. And when we don't understand the purpose of something, we can misuse it, overlook its value, or expect it to fix something that it was never meant to carry in the first place. Do you want healthy, full, manageable, natural hair in simple solutions, but struggle with finding safer options you can trust and want to take all of your time and energy to search? If so, you're in the right place. Hey, I'm Ashley, wife, mom, and Jesus BFF. I learned the secret of how to care for my hair and save time while maintaining it. Holistic care. So if you're ready for healthy hair, better health, and faith that helps you stay consistent, grab your comb, your brush, and your Bible because it's time to grow. Hello, beautiful, and welcome back to the podcast. I'm so excited to talk with you today, and I probably say this on every episode, but I seriously get excited talking about this stuff, and today is no different because we are going to take a deeper look at your hair routine through a different lens. So we're going to talk about the layers of your crown, the inner, middle, and outer layers, and how each one plays a role. Now, before we get into the layers of your hair, I first want to share where this inspiration came from. So last week, I was actually on YouTube, and I was listening to a pastor, and he was talking about relationships, and he broke it down into these 3 different layers, which we're going to get into as for our hair. But as he was breaking it down, he was talking about how we can mismanage relationships because we put people into the wrong categories. And then when we have these different expectations for them that don't align to what their purpose is, then we could get hurt. That's where unforgiveness could come to play, which I talked about in my previous episode. So be sure to listen to that. But guys, that episode really blessed me, and I was like, oh my gosh, I got to share this with my people. So here I am going to share about him, his episode, as well as talk about our hair. So let's get into it. So when it comes to hair care, we often focus on what we can see, the products on the outside. But healthy hair is built through understanding the full picture. So your scalp, your health, your hormones, all the things, it has different purposes. And just like relationships have different levels of closeness and responsibility, your hair products also have different roles in your hair routine. So let's get into these different layers by first talking about the inner core. Now, in my opinion, out of the 3 core layers, this core really sets the stage. It really sets the foundation. That inner core is what is closest to you. Now, as far as relationships, this is anywhere between 3 to 5 friends that you keep close to you. They know everything about you. They know your ins and your outs. They know what makes you cry, what makes you tick. They could write a book about you with no problem. And they really have your best interests at heart. So you keep this circle small for a reason. You could take advice from them, and it is okay because you know they mean well, even if it stings a little. And this is the same way that our hair behaves at its inner core. Now, what can that look like? Well, you could be using a hair product and you say, it's not working. And your hair actually acts as that best friend, and it communicates back to you saying that you actually need something deeper than another hair product. So what does that communication look like? Well, for one, if your nutrition is off and you're not eating enough protein, it will let you know that you're experiencing a nutrient deficiency. Another example of this is that if you're experiencing dandruff doesn't just happen from a lack of a product, but it could also be a sign of inflammation happening throughout your body, and it's showing up on your scalp, as well as your hormones could be thrown off. Are you experiencing more stress in this season? And what does that look like? Is that what's causing the thinning areas of your hair? All of this could be signs that something is happening with your core or your inner layer. So you have to pay attention to that. One example that comes to mind is that for the longest time, I was having trouble with the middle of my scalp. I was always having like some thin areas, like not thin areas, but my hair in the middle, it would always be breaking off. And I was like, man, what is going on? Well, first, I was doing a lot of protective styling. I was doing braids, and it was causing a lot of tension in my scalp. And so that was, for one, that was breaking my hair awful lot. But I also realized later on that I was experiencing a hormonal issue. And so I was having like hormonal imbalance and also dealing with fibroids and all the things. But this was also revealing later on that I was lacking in having low iron, which is also could be due to the fibroids that I was experiencing, as well as I was low in vitamin D. So that was my hair telling me that something was completely off. That is your inner core. You want to really pay attention to your hair when it comes to that and really listen to what your hair may be saying that you're liking from the inside. Now, this next group, I really enjoyed how the pastor had broke this down, and that is the middle core layer. And the way he put it is that this is your partnership group. They support you, whether it's in ministry. They may not know everything about you, but they support you where you need support. And so this is like where you collaborate in. And so an example of that I thought of is that you could have a relationship with a person that's great in IT, so you go to them every time you have a computer problem. You may go to another group of people that's great for marketing. And so all these different relationships in this middle area, it's needed, but it's needed like for certain moments and times. You probably don't need them every time, but for certain moments, that's who you go to. And so that is your support system. Now, when it comes to hair, it also acts the same way. And this is when we get into our products. So what does that support layer look like when it comes to hair? This could be our treatments. Sometimes you may not need hydration treatment all the time. Maybe you don't need a henna treatment all the time, but you have to like pay attention to your hair and see exactly what it needs. Do you need more moisture or no? As well as mask. Do you need to do a mask every single time? And especially with protein. Now, I had an example with protein because in the beginning, when I first learned about protein treatments, guys, I was doing it. I was doing protein like back to back because I told you in my previous episodes, I was following girlies with the long hair and they were doing that rice protein. So I didn't know too much about rice protein, so I was doing it and it was breaking off my hair. It felt good the first couple of times, but I later learned you're not supposed to do protein that much. And then you also have to pay attention to the ingredients that you use in these different products because you may not realize that you're using as much protein as you are when you're using like a strengthening mask, and then you want to use a DIY on top of that. So I had to learn the hard way, but your hair doesn't need a protein that much. And another example of this when it comes to support is hydration. Is your hair calling for more hydration, or is your hair feeling limp, like you need to take a break from hydration? What is your hair saying? As well as serums. That was another area I had to learn, is that using oil on your scalp is fine, but using it consistently, sometimes it's not good depending on the kind of oil that you use because that could cause buildup as well. And so I had to learn when to use a serum and how to apply my oil. And so different products at different times, but most importantly, just knowing what your hair needs in that current season is very key. So that is your middle core. Now, friends, we're not even on to the last layer yet, but I want to pause real quick and invite you to my one-on-one hair and wellness strategy session where we really unpack what may be impacting your hair and what you could do moving forward so you can have the clarity and the knowledge that you need so your hair will truly flourish the way that the Lord has called you to. So I want to invite you to it. I'll be sure to have the link in the show notes for you to go into it. So with that said, let's get into our last layer. And lastly, we have our outer core layer. Now, when it comes to relationships, this is our work relationships. We don't do too much. We do our work, we are cordial and we're friendly, and then we leave and go our separate ways. And so that's it when it comes to our work relationships. And as far as our hair, this outer core layer, this is our appearance and maintenance. So what does this look like at our outer core? When it comes to our hair, this is our finishing touch. We don't have to do too much at this layer because we've done the work from our inner layer in our middle core layer. So at the outer layer, this looks like protective styling. So maybe you put your hair in a style and you leave it alone until your next wash day, and you don't, put your hands in your hair throughout your day and constantly like doing different styles throughout your day. Like you're really leaving your hair alone. This could also look like styling products. Maybe taking a look at what kind of products you're using as far as your styles, creams, as well as what kind of oils are you using to seal up that moisture. So we don't do much to this layer. We just complement it with finishing touch. So our products and everything, it just complements the work that we already done, starting from the inside, working our way out. So that is it when it comes to our layers. So as I close out, I want to quickly ask you, have you ever mismanaged relationships before, where you put so much emphasis on your outer core relationship instead of focusing on your inner core, or maybe you've actually intertwined the two, and because it didn't work the way that you've envisioned it to, you go to the Lord with a slightly hardened heart, and now He has to walk you through the process and actually correct how you view relationships. It's the same thing when it comes to our hair as well. Sometimes we could put so much emphasis in love and support into these different hair products, and while they work, especially products like my own, like Flourishing Hair Oil and the Flourishing Hair Mist, it works, but we also have to look at our inner core, and the Lord is calling us back to our true beauty from within, and that starts with our nutrition as well. So I pray that this has really opened up your mind and just shifted your perspective a bit when it comes to how to prioritize products as well as your health as well, so you could get the full picture of what the Lord is doing when it comes to your hair. Once again, I want to invite you to my one-on-one hair and wellness strategy session, where we really dive deep into what could be impacting your hair, so you could get the clarity that you need to really flourish in this season when it comes to your hair health. As well as I want to invite you to my hair and wellness community, where you will receive weekly tips from me through your email. So I pray that this has blessed you. Be sure to share with someone that comes to mind, and I will talk to you next time. Bye, beautiful. Hey, beautiful. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If so, would you please take 30 seconds and share with a friend who may want to care for their hair without overwhelm and confusion? Also, please leave a quick review for the show on Apple Podcasts. It lights me up to feel the love when I know the podcast is helping you. Well, I'm off to care for my crown, drink my water, and stop touching my hair. I'll meet you back on Tuesday for another quick episode. Love ya!